Peter stood at the edge of the crowded workshop, watching others create beautiful wooden pieces with confidence and ease. Their hands moved like poetry, smooth, precise, effortless. His own hands, however, felt heavy and unsure. Every time he tried, his cuts were uneven, his measurements off, and his patience thin. "Maybe I'm just not talented," he whispered to himself. Peter had grown up believing that skill was something people were born with. Either you had it, or you didn't. And right now, he clearly didn't. One day, the workshop owner, an old craftsman named Arjun, noticed Peter standing quietly in the corner. "Why don't you try again?" Arjun asked. "I've tried," Peter replied, frustration in his voice. "I just don't have the skill." Arjun smiled gently. "Skill is not something you have. It's something you build." Those words stayed with Peter. The next day, instead of aiming to create something perfect, Peter decided to focus on just one thing: cutting a straight line. That was it. No masterpiece, no expectations. Just one straight line. It was crooked. He tried again. Still imperfect. But this time, he didn't quit. Day after day, Peter showed up. He practiced cutting, measuring, sanding. His early attempts were messy, and sometimes he felt embarrassed watching others progress faster. But he kept going. A week later, his lines were straighter. A month later, he could measure accurately. 3 months later, he built a small wooden box. It wasn't perfect, but it was his. There were days he wanted to give up. Days when his hands slipped, when things broke, when progress felt invisible. But he remembered Arjun's words, "Skill is built." So he continued. He started waking up earlier, practicing before the workshop opened. He asked questions, learned from mistakes, and stopped comparing himself to others. Instead, he compared himself to who he was yesterday. Slowly, something changed. His hands became steadier, his eyes sharper. His confidence grew not because he was suddenly perfect, but because he no longer feared imperfection. Years passed. One day, a young boy stood at the edge of the same workshop, watching Peter, now a master craftsman, create a stunning piece of furniture. "How are you so skilled?" the boy asked in awe. Peter paused, smiled, and said, "I wasn't. I started with 0. The boy looked surprised. "Then how did you become this good?" Peter picked up a piece of wood, handed it to him, and said, "One small step at a time. One mistake at a time. One day at a time." The boy hesitated, just like Peter once had. And in that moment, Peter saw himself. He realized that mastery wasn't a destination. It was a journey of patience, persistence, and belief. Because the truth is, no one starts as a master. They become one.